everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of Secret Wars 1984. This is a pivotal one because it really helped kind of bring up the whole kind of event kind of things going on. It also introduced Spidey's black outfit, and then it got turned into Venom and everything. This is a big one, but like reading it through, it's interesting. I liked Secret Wars 2015 better because of how more tightly plotted it was, because this more had the whole kind of thing of selling toys first, and also kind of just like okay, because like evidently DC did something like, or went to like the competition and did like this whole kind of toy thing. It's like, all right, let's kind of do this ourselves. It's like, all right, and it kind of shows. We do get like prologues. This is a really good kind of collection here. It's $34.99. It's got bits that showcase the heroes being brought together. See, the whole kind of concept of this was pretty much putting heroes and villains against each other for the Beyonder to be like, all right, who should destroy their enemies will get a wish kind of thing for me. It's like, okay, so who do we get in all this? Actually, a lot of different ones. We get, let's see. We start off seeing Spidey's whole bit, as he pretty much goes to Central Park, finds his things and gets zapped into it. Iron Man, we also get the X-Men first, and then Iron Man, which is Rhodey at this point, which is a different kind of one, and also kind of brings in certain kind of things of what's kind of going on in here. Let's see. Then we get the Avengers, pretty much getting Cap, Thor, Captain Marvel, Wasp, and She-Hulk, and Hawkeye. And that's about all of them kind of getting zapped in. And only Johnny, Reed, and the Thing, because Sue's pregnant at this point, with Valeria. And then we see like the war kind of beginning and everything kind of going nutty-doo-dah. It's like, alright. This is really kind of weird because we then see the kind of villains. Because we see the heroes first, and we got X-Men of like Wolverine, Charles Xavier, Cyclops, Nightcrawler, Colossus, and then Magneto is on the heroes team as well. Though it gets a little bit funky of what's going on as we see the villains. They've got Galactus, which is pretty much a pushing one. Of course, Kang, Doom, Molecule Man, the Wrecking Crew, Absorbing Man, Ultron, Enchantress, Doc Ock. It's like, okie dokie. And Lizard. Lizard kind of disappears for a good fucking chunk of it, too. Most of this is a lot of talking, got thought bubbles and stuff. The Ender's like, yo, bitches, and then makes Battle World and be like, battle for my shit. Galactus is like, fuck that noise. And pretty much tries to get at the Beyonder, Doom following after to see what's kind of going on. And that doesn't work out well for them as they both get blasted down onto the planet's surface. Everybody's like, Magneto can fucking eat shit. And it's like, alright, I'm bugging out. I don't give a shit about you motherfuckers. And kind of goes off and does his own kind of thing. And so do the X-Men after a certain time. But we see them kind of like doing First Blood and kind of like fighting. And this follows the pattern. There's 12 issues here. One side gets a win. And then a little bit later, the other side gets a win. People are thought to be dead but aren't. It's just a different kind of... It's more find out next time, getting you to actually kind of just keep at it instead of... It just felt a little bit more organic later on. Whereas this, it was just like, okay, we're definitely just putting them together, and each hero doesn't really... We get heroes having certain kind of distinctive voices, like Cap leading and trying to do this best to kind of show everything kind of going on. Doom leading, and then Doom just fucking off for a good little bit before we actually get towards the plot kind of stuff kind of going on. Galactus just like fucking stands at a certain kind of bit before kind of like summoning his homeworld to himself, so he could eat it and then kind of try and like fuck around. Well, he was going to try to eat the battle world, but he then decides to eat his kind of homeworld kind of base station planet to kind of like amp himself up. Janet is really weirdly handled here. She's just more like kind of complaining. I mean, Reed also complains, my wife is pregnant, and that's pretty much the refrain. Like we really get a lot of one-note stuff. Janet's like, I want to go back and do the stuff that I've usually been doing. Oh shit, I broke a nail. I'm getting together with Magneto for some reason and kissing him. Oh, all right. Ben, for some reason, starts flipping back and forth between human and thing kind of thing. It's like, okay, is that gonna be explained? No? Okay. Yeah, Spidey pretty much gets into them kind of doing stuff, and this is where we start seeing Xavier pretty much being a dick and like wiping his mind for shit. We get introduced to like, evidently this got kind of randomly done where I'm like, what the fuck are up with these people? Where the fuck did they come from? Because we get introduced to like Spider-Woman, not Jessica, but this other kind of one that's in Denver. And these two like random women, one getting turned into Volcana, one getting turned into Titanium. Volcana pretty much becoming with a like the only kind of decent relationship with Molecule Man, and just trying to help him not be so on himself. And he's actually trying to be a good guy, even though he does dick shit and tries to follow Doom. We do get a thing of like Hulk trying to like keep this giant mountain from like crushing him and all that shit. And Hulk kind of facilitates between being angry Hulk and being able to like beat a whole ton of wholesale ass, and then kind of like smart Hulk. It's not handled as well as I would like. Being like and then them trying to make him angry to make sure that he's able to hold up the mountain and all that shit. And then them utilizing everybody's kind of like stuff to kind of have Iron Man blast shit out. And it's like, oh yeah, we heard you, Thor. It's like, I was banging the fucking shit out of this mountain to try and get to your asses, but okay. And it wouldn't be another kind of thing without like some alien girlfriend thing for Johnny, which then turns into some kind of weird love triangle because Colossus is complaining. He's like, I miss Kitty. And then he's like, oh shit, I got fucked up. And then that lady's kind of hot. It's like, oh, fuck Kitty. And then she gets fucking killed, and he's like, oh god, she's dead. Oh, I'm like, Colossus. It's like, Johnny makes sense because that's kind of like the perpetual thing of like, Johnny's a horn dog. Johnny wants this, that, or the other. But Colossus, I'm like, why the fuck are you being such a dick to Kitty? It's like, what the hell, motherfucker? And she doesn't even speak their language, and instead they gotta do like some hookah ass smelling thingy ass to like, it's, I mainly say it's hookah ass thing because it looks kind of like a hookah thing where it's like, okay, we're gonna do these kind of things and like meld minds and shit like that. It's like, alright, okay, because that's kind of like how it's designed. I don't have a problem with hookah except like, oh, I'm gonna like fuck myself up with that shit because I hate smoking shit. But this, it's just like, alright, why are you doing it this way? There's got to be some other kind of thing going on. It's like, alright. I love it. Colossus being just like fucking petty as shit, and then Xavier's like, X-Men to me. It's like, whatever. And we do see more of the kind of X-Men shit kind of going on, where Xavier's trying to take a more active role since he can use his legs, and Storm's like, I'm getting kind of pissed off about this because I'm the leader of the X-Men at this point. Janet, someone else was the leader of the Avengers at that point. And then Vision took control of the ones on Earth, and then Cap pretty much takes control over a certain kind of bit. Wolverine does call Cap out for like his stance on mutant stuff because the thing is, Marvel doesn't know how to handle the mutants. Like, they should theoretically be pretty much okay, but their whole kind of conceit is like them being persecuted and everything. Cap should be helping them like ain't nobody's business. But the thing is, they don't even know how to handle like the mutants at this point because they pretty much be like, Magneto, you fucking stupid. And I'm like, yeah, he does some crazy ass shit, but like he also had to deal with like the Nazis and shit, and then other people doing Nazi ass shit to him. So you gotta have kind of more nuance on that, though he is like a mass murderer on certain kind of shit. So it's like, and then Xavier and them kind of just thinking like, yes, we have to look out for ourselves and stuff like that before coming at to a certain point to kind of like help the heroes and shit. It's like, whatever. Galactus doing his shit, and then Doom pretty much trying to figure out how to steal the Beyonder's power and utilize Claw, because Claw was like in Galactus's fucking ship. It's like, okay. And then Iron Man's armor does need to be fixed up at a certain kind of point, and he's like, hey, you surprised I'm a black man? He's like, I'm okay. I don't give him that much of a shit. No problem. And it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. And also, Lizard gets kind of attached to Janet for some reason, and like the villains kind of like kill her ass, but she doesn't die. It's very much like, oh god, they're dead. And of course, this sets She-Hulk off to go and attack the villain's base. And then the hero's gonna go out there. They're trying to like fuck around with Galactus, but like Galactus is like, whatever. Thor got fake out killed before the whole kind of mountain fiasco. Spider-Man just takes Titania out. Like, holy shit, Titania. Oh yeah, here's the thing with Reed and Iron Man. And Spidey getting new duds. Like, yeah, get the black outfit. There you go. Action's pretty decent enough. It doesn't have that kind of feel of movement that other kind of ones have. More kind of nowadays. Like, you can tell that there's movement and stuff going on, but sometimes the newer ones kind of feel a little bit more kinetic of what's kind of happening. Different kind of art styles and stuff like that. Not that this is bad or anything, but the thing is, Galactus pretty much fucks off to kind of like do some shit. And then Doom pretty much takes and absorbs all the energy from Galactus's thing instead to power himself up to then go fight the Beyonder. So it takes a good chunk to get to the actual plot kind of going on where everybody's like fighting, and then Doom's like, fuck this shit. It's like, oh god, I'm super powered. Really beyond the shit that kind of goes on. And then he just goes and challenges the Beyonder and is able to utilize his breastplate to absorb the Beyonder's power and then be like, yeah, the Secret Wars are done. And he's like, yes, the war is over. Pretty much then getting Doom with his, like, perfect visage and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, fuck off. He's like, I'm gonna do this kind of shit. Molecule Man pretty much taking the villains and kind of just fucking off for himself. But, of course, most of the here, we see this one weird thing of, like, the Beyonder's not gone, but instead hopping from people. He's been, the entity's been severely depowered. And, yeah, oh, and, Colossus gets together with the chick. And they're like, bang, bang. It's like, alright, poor kitty. And it's funny because Doom had, like, fucking annihilated Kang and then brought his ass back to be like, I'm okay, I'm not being such of a dick here. It's like, alright. And then all the heroes pretty much like, yeah, we gotta deal with Doom. And then Doom pretty much kills them all. It's like, oh god! That's where we get Cap's broken shield and everything like that. We see the floating Denver piece pretty much going. It's like, yeah, that'll take a bit, won't it? But they're pretty much out of commission for most of the stuff, instead just like fucking around with themselves. But Claw pretty much gets possessed by Beyonder at that point and pretty much waits for the opportune time. And he has got to watch himself because he's afraid that he has, like, if he goes to sleep, he'll subconsciously use his powers and he brings, like, the people back and everything. And of course he gives a little bit of his power to Claw to kind of allow him to make this kind of crazy ass display of, like, all these creatures, and then they're kind of like all fighting. It's like, oh, okay, pretty good action scene there. Ultron getting kind of fucked up and everything. Doom kind of just chilling, but then pretty much keeps getting blasted out by, like, Doom. And he's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. He's like, let me help you. It's like, alright. But the thing is, the power's kind of, like, going out of control, and this is where the Beyonder strikes and pretty much takes all their power back. And Doom's just like, and then getting sucked out, too, with Claw's like, I'm sorry. Spidey being like, wow, this suit's pretty cool. And the thing is, they had told Spidey where to kind of, like, get his stuff kind of fixed and everything. He's like, wait a minute, I didn't go to that machine. What are you guys doing? Ben decides to stay back to kind of figure out what's kind of going on. So this is a kind of split up thing kind of going on with that. before everything's kind of done. It's like, oh, okay. And then going to a whole thing about like the toys and everything. See, this is an important and kind of pivotal one. And I did enjoy it to see what kind of works out. However, the problems come into effect of like, okay, they keep repeating certain kind of things. They really do a lot of stall tactics of what's kind of going on for, like, these 12 issues felt a lot longer, where when I read certain kind of other event ones, they have a better kind of idea of what kind of is going on with the pacing. But see, the thing is, the objective here was to put all of the heroes together, and the plot came kind of second. You really see that because it takes so long to get to the final kind of bit of where Doom starts like doing shit against the Beyonder. And I'm not saying that it shouldn't take long or like for a big kind of reveal, but the main thing is heroes and villains fight, one side wins, other side goes to lick their wounds, some hero or villain is thought to be dead. Then we get to the next issue, that is reversed, and then we reverse the kind of stuff again. Maybe not next issue, but the issue after. This is like a big kind of thing. It's like, okay, it's mainly to see who the like heroes are. I mean, like, oh, give them certain kind of cool things to kind of do to get them for like toy purposes. That's why the plot pretty much takes real second place, and then we get into Doom actually doing shit and him being kind of more of a central character and what's going on. We also get Cap like fixing his shield as well, which was actually pretty cool. Because evidently the Beyonder pretty much gives them their kind of wishes and stuff. Because we see everybody kind of doing that. It's just very strange because the objective was more for the kind of toy bit, and we see the characterizations kind of... The main characterizations stay in a good kind of effect of Thor, Cap, Rhodey pretty much as Iron Man, and Reed Richards and Doom. Johnny gets the same kind of stuff that he usually gets in the Fantastic Four, but Colossus really gets kind of fucked over, and Janet gets really fucked over because she's kind of whiny in this for some odd reason, talking about like breaking her nail and all that, and then getting together with Magneto and getting kind of like an infatuation kind of thing going on with Lizard. It's like, what the fuck's kind of going on here? This is really like showcasing the beginnings of that and the growing pains, whereas in other ones, as we get further on and further refined in the event things, we have more collaboration with creative teams and those that have the understanding of the voices for the characters, so that way you don't have these kind of incongruities and cognitive dissonance of like, why are you acting like this? And like with Hulk being like, it's mainly plot demands of like, do you want the heroes to win? Hulk strong, Hulk beat shit, yeah. Do you want the heroes to lose? Hulk not. Hulk just gets fucking thundercracked because we decided to do that. This definitely falls into the kind of categories of there are decisions made here because they already had the predetermined outcome. It's like, okay, you needed to work a little bit more to make that make sense here, but okay. So I overall still enjoy this and seeing the art styles, how it's kind of working out, and how pivotal this was in like, this is a big one. But I would say that there are better kind of ones, and like that, the 2015 one actually works very well to do that, even taking the Beyonder concepts and doing all that kind of stuff in a very interesting kind of way for like God Emperor Doom and actually going through with it, because we don't really get... I mean, the extent of is like God Emperor Doom in this, or like Beyonder Doom, wins and then tells them to kind of like fuck off for a little bit. I mean, he gets that going on in issue 11, and then we get, like, the end of it in issue 12. 2015, we get what God Emperor Doom can do and does throughout there. It's like, huh. Okay, definitely. I mean, you only have 2 issues then to do it. In this one, it's like, So, I would mainly recommend it to see how Spidey gets his black outfit. See how heroes and villains were handled back in that time of like 1984, and how we've built up and done different kind of stuff up into this point. It might actually make you appreciate different kind of events better for certain kind of things. That doesn't mean all of them work out. There are still the things that are inherent problems with certain kind of events, mainly probably because the event writer and also maybe the artist haven't had that much work with certain kind of characters, so their voices or their appearance and how they're drawn and what goes on with them doesn't match up, and you're like, this is not jiving with me. Like with certain kind of stuff, like making Captain Marvel into a complete asshole in like Civil War 2. I didn't read that, but like I knew of it. I'm like, oh Jesus. And then going with like Hydra Cap and stuff like that, and be like, okay, I understand what you're attempting to do, but holy goddamn fucking shit, what the fuck, my friend? There's a lot of stuff going on, and this, I still would recommend it for like the history of what goes on for it, but if you get into it and you're like, this is just a slog for me, I totally get that, and that is what's going to happen, because you're going to fall into the pattern of back, forth, someone's dead, someone's alive, they're back again, they're dead again, this, that, and the other, and it's more like they didn't completely have an idea of what they wanted to do. They had the basic concept, and they're like, fight kind of tournament. It's like, yeah, but how are you going to do this stuff? We're just going to do it. It's like, okay, how are you going to wrap this up? Doom steals the Beyonder's power and just becomes Doom, and then it's got to like get its power back, and you're going to do this in the last about 3 issues? Okay, cool. But yeah, I still have enjoyment and fun with it because you see all these different heroes and villains fighting together and against each other when you normally wouldn't see them. The X-Men are really oddly handled out, where they just thunder fucking push them off into a certain kind of thing, then bring them back in on the hero's side, and then kind of just like fuck off with them. It's like, if you really want a great example of Marvel not knowing what to do with the mutants, this is like a good example of that, where it's like, alright, we're actually just gonna have a fuck off over there for a good bit, and then just bring them back in when we kind of want or need. It's like, well, that sounds like a fucking, like the fucking modus operandi of what's been going on with them. Oh. So, those are my opinions on Secret Wars 1984. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.